Yo, what's up guys, welcome back, next match Cross-Banlist Cup. So we're almost there, first finals here in the upper part. So I guess the more balanced decks, quote unquote, while tomorrow should be the bottom part finals, right? So the more broken decks. So anyway, we have Chaos versus Infernities. This is a rematch as we've seen, was it last week? I think so, and if I remember correctly, I think well, obviously Infernity won that one, but again it was like after a crush card, like triple Archfiend right from top, something like that, right? Highly recommend to, rewatch that one, or watch it if you haven't watched it before. So which deck has the advantage? Again, like the percentages are really close. Infernity versus Chaos Yatalok, even though there's like 6 years a difference between both these decks. But again, if I remember correctly, it was a really close game last time. But I mean, both decks have their advantage over each other, like the Synchro package, the Synchro monsters, stuff like Stardust Dragon, which like power creeps the entire Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Duster, stuff like that. While on the other hand we have Chaos with that, it kind of reminds me of Tango Plant, right? It's a huge toolbox. Here in this case a huge toolbox of banned cards. Ah yes. So Chaos goes first, and the thing is that, as it was, multiple times for every Cross-Banlist Cup and the finals, because this is a match between, the winner of the losers bracket, the left side being Chaos, versus obviously the winner of the right side of the bracket. Chaos, if it wants to be the winner, right, of the upper part, it needs to win 2 times against Infernity, so 2 times best of 5. Right, if that would be the case. So anyway, still game number 1, and it's going, as you see, one of the longer duels here in this Cross-Banlist Cup. Goats kind of stalls it out a little bit again, not giving Chaos damage. Could be important for stuff like Scientist here in hand, or potential Chaos Emperor, right, with those paying 1000 life points every time. But I'm not so sure. The thing is that if it turns into a grind game, like here in the first duel, I'm not so sure which deck actually has the advantage here in this situation. Is it Chaos? It might be because of the board wipes, Duster, Heavy Storm, stuff like that. While, speaking of Duster, while on the other hand, there is Infernity that can definitely capitalize on that, potentially using stuff like Giant Tornado, clean the entire back row, and Chaos is not a deck that runs back row, well, that has access to hand traps. So you can just freely synchro summon and potentially go for game with stuff like Mistworm, right? But here in this situation again, the Harpy's Feather Duster was important to potentially, getting rid of important traps / spells, and this is such an old school move, like normal summon Breaker first, then go into the battle phase, attack over the stronger monster, and then use the effect to pop the last, or at least pop one of the back rows. I felt that the Goat tokens here in this situation were indeed more so a hinder, but I think I have a regular destruction set, plus I do have Crush card again, tributing Sengen, freeing open or freeing up a potential monster zone in order to be used later. Reveal Garasu, reveal Yatta, and yep, this is more than enough, so Yatta lock. Game number 2, I go second, and the thing is that Infernity opens really well. Like Launcher to potentially get those multiple monsters from the hand, Greffer as well, so that's why, stuff like Greffer, Launcher, its secondary effect is crucial for the strategy, getting those monsters from the hand, right? Again, that's, I feel, one of the biggest weaknesses of Infernities, like both the Exceed version and the Synchro version, having multiple monsters in the hand. So I guess, if I remember correctly, the end board is probably going to be, what is it, Stardust Dragon as, like a potential disruption, interruption, protection for your board, and I believe double barrier as well, with potential reborn next turn. I'm not so sure. 100 Eyes hits the field, banishing, what is it, a Dark from the graveyard, and then it will copy its effect. I think it's until the end phase. So now, let's try to go for it again, potentially getting a search here out of Witch, potentially getting an extra Dark in the graveyard, which, at least I want to search a Light. And here, Force out Stardust, use Double Typhoon, use Graceful Charity. My only out here in this duel is to draw Light, so I can discard both the Witch and the Light. Sadly no Light, but I draw Goat, so I can stall it out again a little bit, getting some damage. Okay, that's fine, but leave it to, I think, 2 Goat tokens, and, you know, making sure that I have at least 1 Goat token, but at least at this point I don't have a Light in the graveyard. And Scientist is my top deck, and it's actually a good top deck. I mean, Metamorphosis would have done it as well. I think I'm not so sure. I think I should have gone for, what is it, Magician King in the extra deck. It's a light one. It's a light monster, and then crash into Archfiend, I guess. And then, you know, maybe make some of these plays right, making sure that my opponent doesn't have a monster ending board, and making sure that, again, that I, you know, not leave my weaker monsters in attack position, because of the, you know, the monster special summoned off of Scientist will return to the extra deck during the end phase. But here in this situation, I'm actually in a super terrible position. I don't have any lights. I knew that top deck Monster Reborn, but I think we knew that the barrier was there because it was searched, right? That setup for Infernity is actually okay. Necromancer plus Archfiend and Necromancer can reborn every time, right? So it's not looking too good. I need to top deck Painful Choice, something to get a light in the graveyard, but I top deck another Chaos Boss monster. So I think if I went for that Magician King earlier, I might have won this one, but I mean, it is what it is. So going first again, game number 3. This is an okay-ish start. I kind of need to hope that Infernity does have a slow start on its own. So the normal summon is used. That's important because now there is no tuner. Or was Launcher already used to discard the card? I think so, right? Because there is no Greffer? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Otherwise you probably search a tuner, right? Discard it. I mean, Necromancer already used its effect, right? So, okay, never mind. I guess Infernity is going for a slow game, but this, as you know, Barrier needs to, at least you can only use Barrier if you control an attack position Infernity monster. So I guess you're in this situation, get rid of the Archfiend first, and then let's see if there's any form of response. So Heavy Storm below the entire back row away, and now I'm in full control of the duel. I use Storm just to make sure that Yatta can connect. Use Soul Release first, to the one of Soul Release from the extra deck, or from the side deck. And again, Yatta lock. Yatta again coming in clutch. Prevent my opponent from drawing during the next draw phase as soon as it does damage. Or is it attacks directly? Or directly and does damage? I think it's like that. Anyway, so Chaos leads. Okay, game number 4. And again, Infernities with that slow start. So I was like, okay, grind game, go for Mirage and potentially getting those 3 draws, etc. Get Typhooned. Okay, that's fine though still. I mean, I'm still in the duel. Infernities, as you see, going really slow. Problem though is that I need to torrential here. If my opponent reveals a launcher, I probably lost the duel. Luckily, no launcher. Because I'm not sure what my sets were. A Storm and a Morph because of Mirage. And here, yeah, again, because of that. If my opponent revealed launcher, game. So I was like, I do have Storm. And maybe, you know, those back rows are Battle Traps, Compulse or something like that. So I think the only correct play was indeed search Yatta. And storm the back row, normal summon Yatta, and again another Yatta lock. That's a Yatta lock for you. Okay, so Chaos won. But again, as I mentioned before, Chaos came from the loser's bracket, the left side of the bracket. So this is, I guess, the final match again, best out of 5. Flip over, DD Warrior Lady gets Bottomless. Again, I didn't want to, you know, use Duster because that set could have been Infernity Inferno, you know, the big foolish burial. And then normal summon Reaper and connect with discarding Solemn Judgment. That's super crucial because especially here in this situation, you probably would have set your entire back row right, and then that Solemn would have been used. Yada. But again, Reaper keeps connecting, as we've seen in, you know, multiple matches before with, I believe it was back then, Reaper on the Nightmare also. And again, Infernity is really slow this time. The launcher is there, but the Infernity level 1 in the graveyard cannot be reborn from the graveyard. So, normal summon trap, use priority, good old school moves, use call, you know, Demok, getting back Duster. So again, you think you're safe, and then set your entire back row. I mean, potential Heavy Storm, but I will be using my own back row as well. But Demok can just get back the Duster. And here in this situation, I kind of need to hope that, again, there is no Archfiend top deck. And it is. I believe there's a Typhoon set, but I have Order, right? So, yeah, doesn't really matter, right? So, yups, 1-0 leading Chaos. Or Chaos is leading. So next up, this hand is, was about to say okay-ish. And I think one of the best cards indeed is again that Painful Choice. I do call, and this is the problem, right? I guess, okay, calling for Archfiend searching something, but that potentially shuts down your barrier, right? You know, setting up for a potential big Duster or Storm, which again what happens. But I use Typhoon again to prevent those searches as a whole. So again, I need to hope no top deck Archfiend. Even though Emperor is there, big attack, I mean, that's not relevant, but Witch of the Black Forest could search like Scientist or something like that just in case. I searched Yatta, and that's, well, what is it, the Infernity Avenger was still there, I think, but whatever, to each their own. So Chaos has this one, okay, nice. Game number 3, and going second again, Infernity opens really well, but I think, if I remember seeing the replay here, the two back rows, the two sets there, those are Infernity, Inferno, and going first, that's actually a very solid card to, you know, set up your graveyard, but if your opening hand is good to get you started, like here, bump out a couple of synchros, couple of searches maybe, then those Infernos are basically blank cards, so they don't do anything. And okay, Stardust is cool, you know, no Storm, no Duster, Dark Hole, whatever, but Pot is there, so Soul Release now is a dead card, so Typhoon to potentially force out Stardust, use Soul Release to potentially force out the barrier, at least we know there's one barrier in the middle here. Barrier is not activated, so that tells me that there is some weakness, especially because again that those two sets you'll see they won't be activated here. So that Monster Reborn I think was one of my few outs. Painful Choice was the other one to set up a BLS, but I'm honest, and again I'm not going to make the same mistake that I did a couple of moments ago, so go for Magician King, which is a light. Again, the monsters from Magical Scientist, they can attack, but they cannot attack directly, so attack over the monsters. Real Senshi is there to potentially negate a trap card. Again, I have to hope, unlike last time, that there is no Archfiend from the top. Going for Senshi wouldn't make sense here in this situation. If the Torrential is there, then Torrential is there, okay, it's fine. But again, I think I need to hope that, again, Kiko connects, banishing those Infernities from the graveyard. And here, I make a small mistake, like, looking at the replay now, Senshi says that you can negate a trap card, but you need to pay 1000 life points. And that's a mistake on my part, I overlooked that one. Right, yeah. Because let's say if that last card on the left was a Torrential, I mean, you probably would have Torrential on the Demok summon, no? I think so. So I still would have had BLS, right? But, okay, long story short, it's not going to matter too much. Draw a Typhoon on top of that to hit the last card, but I don't think there is Mirror Force to potentially be worried about. Leave BLS in defense just to make sure, but yup, Chaos has this one all over Infernities, and I think Chaos only lost one here, or at least once here in this big match, right? So okay, Chaos moves on to the grand finals. I'm not so sure how that matchup would go to either Sword Soul or Drytron, but that's the last finals on the bottom part. So Drytrons versus Sword Soul. That's also a rematch, so feel free to leave your predictions. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Out. Peace.